cafe. Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, episode 2245, 2245. This show's called Mike's Daily Podcast. It was busy yesterday with me busy sleeping. Yeah, so there would have been no podcast anyway. I've been enjoying watching on YouTube a Yankee in the South. It's a thing I can't get out of my mouth. It's a show where this guy named Will,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
travels around with his wife Dawn to a lot of restaurants that I don't
Mike's
eat at
Daily
because they're in the South
Podcast,
and I can't go to them.
Yeah!
And even if I could go to them, I probably would not. There was a time when I was married that my then wife and I in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, used to eat at this place called Logan's. They don't have Logan's here in California, which is a good thing because they serve you, as soon as you sit down, they serve you these rolls that are dripping with butter. Dripping. Yes, the whole roll itself is just like a sponge for butter. And you eat that, and then there's a bunch of peanuts. They give you a bucket of peanuts. Oh my gosh, there's just so much food. The steaks you get. So I don't eat that way anymore. I can't eat that way anymore. I'm in my 50s. I gotta watch it. However, watching someone eat that way is wonderful. I guess you could say it's a type of thing you should watch that you shouldn't watch. But at the same time, this couple, they are so cute, and so they also take you on these little tours around Gatlinburg and the Smoky Mountains and Tennessee and all that. And I find that fascinating. I did not get to visit Tennessee as much as I wanted to. I lived in the north part of Alabama, and we just didn't go up to the Tennessee part.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, we went to Nashville, but we didn't head. That was more middle Tennessee. We went more towards the east. I mean, we didn't get to see the east, is what I'm saying. So the east part of Tennessee looks beautiful, and the Smoky Mountains. So I watched that all day yesterday. That was my plan. I'm just going to sit here and watch this wonderful homemade video series. And in fact, I gave them a like, or I sent them a compliment, and they liked my compliment. So I was like a giddy little school kid. Look, Basil the boxer. Oh, he never made it to the South with me. But we went hiking and went to a bunch of wonderful places. So that's on YouTube. So many hours you can. There are a lot of people that do the, traveling around type thing on YouTube, and they're pretty famous. But the ones that I watch are the quirky ones like that, the cute couples. That it's not professional, but they do it out of the love of, and they eat the food that is just the food I would not be able to eat right now. Steaks and lots of burgers and fries and it's wonderful. I think the podcast picture today, we have not had a Basil picture. Speaking of Basil, and about, when was this? I guess this was 3 years ago. We went to, I guess it was 3 years ago. We went to Half Moon Bay. And so you'll see a picture of when Basil and I went to Half Moon Bay at mikesdailypodcast.com. How about that? All right. I feel like we'll do that today. Or Basil will be implied, or it'll be a nice picture. So see all the great past podcast pictures at mikesdailypodcast.com. Today, I would like to talk about something that you may not consider too much. So recently, I found myself in the world of Nextdoor. It's a social media that you use to get to know your neighbors, and it actually helped out. We're currently helping out a kitty that is feral. And we're doing this whole thing where we're helping this kitty convalesce, get better from, it was fixed recently. And so we are kind of helping out the shelter and rehoming this cat. So the lady that we met who helped us with all of this is someone that we met through Nextdoor. I am not a fan of social media. I just happened to be on Nextdoor, and it worked out well for me. This looks like it's a good social meeting. The social network here, the social media here helped out. But overall, you gotta hate social media, don't you? Because anything that's free and you don't pay for a product, you are the product. And they're making money off of you. And that's important to remember. But if you are prone to being on social media a lot, and I noticed there were some people on this Nextdoor that were like writing all in capital letters, not bothering with, there is a shift key. There's a caps lock key. You can undo the cap lock key and you can actually write like a normal individual. But some people don't care to do that when they're on social media and they say bizarre, stupid things. So here's some important things to remember. Don't post about yourself 24/7. Yours truly, even though I do Mike's daily podcast, I cannot do it daily. I have a very busy life. I have a lot going on. And when I do have free time, I don't necessarily want to do this. I'd rather do something with my lovely lady. You know what I'm saying? My lovely lady friend. So it's the nature of the medium to want to post yourself 24/7. We all want affirmation, but try not to make every update about you and you alone. Try not to troll too frequently for compliments or sympathy. Actually, try not to post too frequently, period. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. By the way, this is from the website realsimple.com, which I believe is part of the magazine Real Simple, which I used to subscribe to. I liked it. It had very helpful articles in it. I gave it a plug there. Now I'll give it a slug. It's probably cost too much to actually subscribe to it now. I got the subscription free, but it's a nice big magazine. It's a nice big, strong, sturdy magazine book with, thick paper. It's nice. It's nice. You can put it on the coffee table. It looks good. But I don't subscribe anymore. So, Real Simple also says, post only flattering pictures of other people. Yes, just because you're cool with being posted wolfing an entire deep dish pizza doesn't mean your cousin, who is right there with you, will share your sentiments. And also, the other thing I love about Will and Don and their little video series is Will, and I'm sorry, Will, if you're listening to this, but Will, he says so often, he says certain words wrong, but he says it in his own way, and I love it. He just says it like, I can't think of one right now, but there are a couple times he's reading the menu, right, and showing you what a restaurant will have, and he'll say the name wrong of something on the menu. I was going to give an example, but I'd probably be saying the name wrong too. So that's why I love it, and I can't really make fun of him for that, but it's great. So if you're posting a picture and somebody, let's say, photobombs the picture accidentally, didn't want to photobomb, but somehow there's a person of someone you don't know in that picture right there, and you didn't ask that person if you want to post that picture, if they can be in the picture you just posted, it's probably not a good idea to post that picture. Friend wisely. Don't extend a request to your supervisor or a client. You don't want them gaga-gooing at your baby niece or commenting on your Oktoberfest pics. And if they friend you, adjust your settings as needed to keep at least a thin boundary between work and regular life. Spare us your synced games. No offense, but we don't want to know that you're playing Candy Crush Sega, let alone receive tedious spam-like invitations to join you. Such annoying. And abstain from vague booking. If you want to share something, please do it, but be advised, skip the ambiguous cries for attention. It finally happened. ER visits suck, or that frowny little emoji. Things to remember if you're on Instagram, the other thing that Facebook owns, yes, and you're the product for and they make money off of you for. You went to Arizona and saw dozens of saguaro cacti that were uncannily human-shaped. Unless you're a professional cactus photographer, nobody wants to see more than 2 photos. Wow, that's harsh. That's harsh against people's photo taking. I say whatever. Throw it up there. Give credit where credit's due. Don't post to other photos from other people or quotes from other people without clear attribution. This means no screen grabs, even if you have the best intentions. Instead, use a repost app to properly credit others for their own content. And restrain your use of hashtags. A hashtag can provide a funny or interesting interpretation for your photo viewers, but more is not merrier, and an overuse of them is a common pet peeve. And think of the future you. Your taste will change, as will your sense of humor, your idea of TMI, and your interest in privacy. But your photos will live on forever. Yes, Facebook and Instagram owns them. Once more, with feeling, use caution with posting. Oh, and you will age. Mike Matthews has a gray beard now. When he first started on Instagram and Facebook, he had nice brown tone. There was color to his goatee. Of course, Mike Matthews has been bald for as long as social media has existed, so that's not a problem. But Mike Matthews is getting older. He gets fatter, he gets thinner, he gets fatter, he gets thinner. But just remember, that's part of the game. People are going to see it and go, oh, I remember when you were thin. Now, real quick, some Twitter social etiquette. Mind your meh. The avocado toast you ate for breakfast, how much you hate Mondays unless you're a comic genius, a Nobel Prize winning neuroscientist, or Kate Middleton. Your every mundane thought is probably not worth posting. Oh, that's harsh. I want to hear everybody's mundane thoughts. Just as I put a lot of mine on this show. Apply the billboard test. Assume that everyone in the world can and will see everything you post. Be responsive. This is the quid pro quo rule. If someone you know follows you, follow him back. Oh, really? I have to do that? Oh. If someone tweets something nice about you, favorite. And don't request retweets. Ooh, I used to do that in the beginning. I said, please retweet my podcast. That was long ago, though. 10 years ago. So is that okay? Is that... Did enough time pass by? Well, make the most of your 140 character limit, and followers will want to share your tweets all on their own without your asking. Is my mea culpa okay? Did the time pass? I guess it's past the statute of limitations. Hey, look who's outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Oh, Mike Matthews, it's Jelly. It's too hard gift shop supervisor. I thought you were going to talk about COVID-19 practices that may remain after the lockdown stuff. Oh, yeah, I guess I was, huh? Well, this is pertaining only to real estate, so Zoom meetings will probably carry on, as even though we're reopening like crazy these days. Scheduled showings will continue. You know what? That's important. Because so we had to do all these scheduled showings in order to funnel as many buyers possible through properties with COVID-19 guidelines in place. Visits were limited 15 to 30 minute tightly scheduled appointments. That was a great idea. How many times, if you were ever looking for a house, did you have to like wait, or you showed up and they weren't ready for you or something? You need a scheduled time. It's tough to get everything coordinated for that to work correctly, but restricted showings. Sellers worried about excessive exposure with people touring their homes, limited access to those who were pre-approved and could actually buy the home. This meant that looky-loos just touring for fun were not allowed in. That might continue on. No children allowed. Really? One clear COVID directive was no children allowed. If you ever attended an open house and experienced unattended children running rampant through the home, this rule is highly appealing and might be worth keeping in place going forward. And 3D tours will probably continue being popular. This from Carl Medford, a licensed realtor with Keller Williams Realty. He writes for our local Forum paper in Castro Valley. So there you go. Thank you for that little bit of insight. Okay, did you think that was interesting?
This is my last word.
Uh-huh.
No!
Oh. And look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floor Man. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I don't ever want to buy a house. Yeah, if you buy a house, you've got always looming over you a roof that might leak and have water drip on top of you, or a water heater exploding, or the whole thing with if somebody hits a baseball and the ball goes through your glass, breaks your window, that thing. So much fun. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster. Thank you so much for listening. It's been one of those days where I've had a bunch of technical issues. I use Xfinity, and they were down for quite a while today. So that made my work from home experience kind of a pain. And then turned out my office computer that I remote into wouldn't let me. So many fun things. Hopefully things are going well with you and will go well till the next time we meet. Hopefully soon we'll do another podcast for you. And you can call me 336MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast tries to be. Thank you for listening to FF episode 2245, 2245. Tell all your friends. And with more ways to reach me, here's a friend.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!